Coming up on Chasing the Sun. It's all about diving and underwater adventure. Travis tags along with Captain Choppy from Panama City Dive Center.
Probably the best shore dive on the Gulf Coast with the jetties. Super convenient.
Then finds out diving in Panama City Beach has deep historical roots.
The museum then was really conceived by a bunch of Navy folks from the Sealab I program. And the museum basically is designed to show the general public who doesn't know anything about diving what diving's really about.
Chasing the Sun is brought to you by DOA Fishing Lures, the unfair advantage. Dorado Boats, custom fishing boats. Dulce Vida Tequila. Fire disc cookers, built to haul, cooks it all. And by Grundens, we are fishing.
We're here with Captain Choppy, the owner, proprietor, main head honcho of Panama City Dive Center. On what's this boat?
This is the Island Diver.
The Island Diver. Old crew boat. Tell me about this thing.
She was delivered in 1968, originally built out of Louisiana for the inland crew boat industry. And
That's oil field for all y'all that don't know.
That's right. She was converted into a dive boat in the late 70s, and it's pretty much been in Panama City in this industry for the last almost 40 years.
It's one of the best shaped crew boats I've ever been in.
Well, thank you.
It's a nice ride, man.
We spend a lot of time on her, and it's if you're at a boat, you know, it's like a full-time job.
Yeah. So tell me a little bit about what you guys do.
Well, primarily what we do is we cater to the larger groups with open water checkout dives. When you get certified for scuba diving, to get your open water certification, we like to take you out on a boat and get you down to 40 foot, start off first dive. Between Panama City and Pensacola, the Gulf drops off faster than anywhere on the Gulf Coast. So it gets deeper, closer to the shore. We can hit about 80 foot of water within 5 miles, so it makes for short boat rides, 4 or 6 hour trips. A lot of our bigger groups like to come down and dive with us. We have St. Andrews State Park just down the road. It offers probably the best shore dive on the Gulf Coast with the jetties. Super convenient. Got picnic areas where you can set up, big parking lot, freshwater showers, short trek across the beach. And you can dive between 15 and 60 foot on those jetties any given time, just depending on the tide. When the water gets warm in the summertime, the currents come through here, we get so much phytoplankton, the water is just full of life. The schools of bait fish are the biggest things that reduce our visibility. It's not like the Keys or any reef or anything where you go and swim down, you see beautiful corals and lots of little stuff. Here, you put a wreck down in the middle of the sand, it turns into an oasis in the middle of the
little
desert,
oasis in the desert.
Yeah, it's just incredible.
Crazy amount of life. So, I mean, visibility restriction through bait fish is not a bad thing.
No, not at all. But it's not like the Caribbean. We like to say if you dive in the Gulf of Mexico, you can dive anywhere.
Let's go diving.
bountiful waters off Panama City Beach and all along the Gulf Coast offers wrecks, natural and artificial reefs, and many interesting dives. Military aircraft, bridge spans, and a wide range of reefs are teeming with fish to satisfy any spearfishing enthusiast.
That's the way to do that. Good fun. You see how energized these people are? That's what I love about diving. It's great community, great camaraderie. Everybody's happy. And we got dinner.
My name's Boomer McFall. I'm a PADI professional, and I work for the TDC here in Panama City Beach. I came here back in the early 90s on a dive trip, and I was just amazed on how beautiful the seas are here. Just that turquoise water, the beautiful white sandy beaches. Well, the good thing about this area, there's so many different types of diving that you can do. You can start out open water, you can do some shore diving, you can do some of the diving up in the springs. Even if you're a snorkeler, you're gonna have a great time. Now, if you've never been scuba diving before, what you can do is what's called a PADI Discover Scuba. So contact one of our local dive shops. What they'll do is have you watch some videos, give you some pool training, and then you'll probably go to St. Andrew State Park. You're not gonna go deeper than 60 feet. Now, once you get out to the St. Andrew State Park, you're going to be diving right along the rock jetties there. Beautiful fish. You'll see all kinds of colorful fish down there. You'll have a dive flag along the rock jetties and stay far away from boat traffic. Now, if you're an advanced diver already, you're going to love the shipwreck trail here. It starts in Pensacola and goes all the way east to Port St. Joe. All kinds of different wrecks that you can do. You'll get a stamp for each wreck that you visit. Now, a lot of people ask us why we want to go deep and see these artificial reefs, these shipwrecks. Well, they're absolutely beautiful, and some of the marine life that is attracted to these artificial reefs is just unbelievable. I'm an underwater photographer. I absolutely love capturing a lot of these marine creatures on video and doing still photography. Now, a lot of people around this area are also into spearfishing. There's a lot of good fishing along these wrecks. So that's why we love Panama City Beach and the Florida Panhandle. Not only for the civilians, the military really loves this area. They got the Naval Support Activity right here in Panama City Beach. So sometimes you'll see them out in the Gulf, sometimes you'll see them up at the freshwater springs.
Think you have what it takes to be a master diver? Anyone who wants to make it as a diver in the military has to come through here to see if they have what it takes. Most do not.
The Navy Dive School here in Panama City is a DoD dive school. We train all divers, all services, Navy, Air Force, Marines, Army, Coast Guard. The guys come in here and there's various levels of school that they go through, different levels of training. You have your basic, entrance level, scuba diver, we send out to submarines. They come back for your more advanced hard hat diving for second class divers. And then those guys come back later on in their career and go through a supervisory course and become first class divers. And then those guys come back several years later after they've been out into the fleet and hone their skills, and they come back and they go through an evaluation process and we call that master diver. And that's the senior highest level that you can attain in the United States Navy. Each classification of Navy diver, second class, first class, master diver, they all start with a core of learning objectives. They have to go through a lot of mathematics, a lot of physics, dive science, and medicine. We try to teach our divers, exactly how it works and the effects that atmosphere, that foreign atmosphere, that alien environment to the human body, what that effect is on the human body. We drill that into each student's head so they understand exactly what is happening physiologically to their bodies when they subject themselves to that pressure. So it's a very rigorous training. With that, there's a lot of physical training, a lot of exercise. You gotta want to be here to get through it. I don't really have the attrition rates right off the top of my head, but they're high. I will tell you, when I went through dive school in 1987, we started with 36 people and graduated 8. So it's a tough course. We start off at a crawl, walk, run kind of training cycle. We start in a very controlled environment in a swimming pool. We move from the pool to a deeper tank. We move from that tank to pier side in the bay. Once they master those skill sets, then we move onto a vessel and we move offshore into open water. We like to look at our divers, they're mechanics. I mean, if you distill it down, Navy divers are mechanics, and the diving is just a mode of transportation to get our mechanics to the work site. And so when they leave here, we're trying to teach them to use that transportation safely and effectively, and at the end of the day, so they can get to the job and put wrenches and get our ships and submarines underway to support our troops that are downrange.
I'm Jim McCarthy, and I'm an engineer that worked previously at the Navy Experimental Diving Unit in Panama City, Florida. I'm in a museum that basically was put together by a bunch of Navy divers, captains, the workforce of the Navy. We're standing in what we call the Man in the Sea Museum, and the museum basically is designed to show the general public who doesn't know anything about diving what diving's really about. We gave a little bit of the history about way back in the time of Archimedes as to how the development of diving equipment, how man lived underneath the ocean to recover such things as gold or a ship recovery and so on. So we built it around basically the history of diving. The Navy didn't invent diving. Diving was invented many years before that. But in Panama City is the home now of all U.S. Navy diving training. And that's done over on the Navy base. The museum then was really conceived by a bunch of Navy folks from the Sealab I program. And we built the museum downtown Panama City to start off with, the original one, and then moved to Panama City Beach. That was really by accident. A gentleman opened up a restaurant and wanted a few helmets, and we gave him on loan to the helmets. He gave us a piece of property, which the museum currently sits on. So as a visitor, as you enter the museum, we display the one that everybody understands. They've seen movies, John Wayne, out underneath the water trying to get sponges, or he's on a wreck and so on. This is what we all call the basic Navy diving piece of equipment, or the John Wayne suit, Okay, this is the basic Navy suit. And it was designed to keep the guy dry inside this suit so he could do work. As you can see, it's cumbersome.
Yeah.
It's as bad being inside that suit as you can imagine. That's 500 and some pounds, they've got to carry it. So underneath the water, it became equalized now, because inside it was filled with air. He then could do a nice job. As we go through the piece of equipment that we have in the museum, we've got the means by which we pumped air down to them.
So you said that the Navy turned this by hand, like when this was being used, and then when they swapped to like an automated system, were they steam engine powered or diesel powered, or what type? How were they turning it?
It basically was diesel operated.
Okay.
Yeah. As time went on, we decided that basically we wanted to get deeper like a submarine. So somebody came up with the basic idea of having what they call a 1-atmosphere suit. Today they have even greater pieces of equipment that are used in offshore rigs now, you know, that came from that technology.
That is neat.
What year was this?
Oh my gosh, back in the early or late 1800s to early 1900s.
Wow.
Jim and I are both members of the Institute of Diving Board that runs the Managed Sea Museum. 2 years ago, we started this project, and now it's a walk-in exhibit for everybody to see what it was like for the Navy's first undersea habitat, and really the nation's first at-sea saturation dive. That was a field test for the theories that were developed in the previous Genesis program that the Navy had to develop saturation diving techniques where man could live on the bottom and have endless bottom time working around the habitat and postpone his decompression until the end of the saturation mission.
The research and scientific data collected by Sealab brought early understanding of how the human body reacts in a foreign atmosphere and created the model to ultimately getting us safely into space. Chasing the Sun's been brought to you by Native Eyewear, built for the backcountry. Pirates Cove Marina, you enjoy the Gulf, we'll take care of the rest. Humminbird, simply, clearly, better. Minn Kota. And by Visit Panama City Beach, real fun beach. A few years back, Captain Justin and now retired master diver Chris Spann went to some of the local dive sites to see what's biting.
We go fishing every day, or I do right now. You will be hopefully before too long.
Before too long, yeah. But it's an honor to have served for as long as I have. That's been my whole life.
Chris just so happens to also be a captain and fishing guide with Panama City Inshore.
There. I rigged both these rods up for us.
You mean you came out here not ready?
I came out here not ready. Well, see, I was planning on taking you about 10 minutes to get them chummed up good.
There's some coming up.
I'm making some strong rigs because I have a feeling we might encounter at some point today some mongos.
That's the plan.
Some full grown.
We got them up to 30 feet now.
There you go. They're working their way up. I love it. The anticipation. Right. Like when you're feeding this line off like this, I mean, I even see people sometimes want to cheat. They like want to go ahead and feed a little bit and then have the bail shut. Because when these fish take it, it's violent. It's violent. I mean, they're big, they're powerful, and they're going.
That is for sure. All right.
Yeah, it's definitely one of those types of fishing where you want to make sure you do it all. There we go. Chris is on. Make sure you do it right, because if you mess up, you could get in trouble. Look at the chunks right there. He already ate at least 3 of the chunks that you put in there.
He's got 2 fish in him.
Yep. Don't you start that. That's probably a 18, 19 inch red snapper.
Nice fish.
And today's his lucky day. We're gonna go swimming.
Yeah, you are wearing me out with the bigger fish. Pretty fish.
All right, Chris.
What do you say we move out a little bit and see if we can't catch a bigger one?
All right, I don't know if our tackle can handle it.
I think it can. There we go.
Uh-oh. 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 That might be the one we came for. That's the man right there. Let me get this right out of the way. You might be in here for a little bit.
He's a grown.
That's right, he is.
He's got some shoulders on him. Keep that head up, we might get him. Come on. I'll tell you what, they got a lot of fight in them. Boy, he just came up really quick.
He did.
I thought, yeah.
All right, that's good. I got you. I mean, here we are, right off Panama City Beach. Hey, we didn't have to go run out where we can't see the condos and all that. And look at that red snapper.
That is pretty. That is pretty.
That's what you come fishing right here
That's
for.
it. That's it.
That's the dude right there.
You don't have to go 30 miles off the beach.
Nah.